Digital media continues to evolve as an important part of an organization's overall strategic plan. One reality that we continue to grapple with is fake news, which has fast become a nightmare for both individuals and organizations alike. The big question: how should organizations manage this menace? What should be the best way to approach this? Our guest, Adiola Kayode, a marketing consultant, discusses some of the ways and strategies that organizations can adopt to ensure that they are not caught unawares. How to be proactive and not reactive, because at the end of the day, fake news, if left unchecked, can hurt a brand negatively.
Adiola, glad to have you on the program today.
Hello, CFA. Thanks for having me today.
Awesome. How would you rate the value that social media has brought about in society today?
Man, it's huge, you know. So social media has moved away from about 5-6 years ago, where it used to be channels where people have social interactions, or a place where you want to relax, you know, you get away a bit from work or connect with family, friends, and long lost ones that you have, to have conversations, to become a mainstream channel of communication in our society today. You know, it's literally the go-to channel where people get information. It's the go-to channel where people want to reach out to their friends. It's the go-to channel where people want to work as well. And I think COVID essentially as well accelerated that, because of course, while people were on lockdown, work needed to go on. People needed to still do their businesses. People needed to still reach out and connect with their loved ones. And of course, it showed in the numbers of the platforms that essentially were social media and communications driven across the world, where while the entire world stopped, these channels spiked because they became the mainstream channel that people use. And of course, as lockdown is gradually easing out in certain parts of the continent, and particularly in Nigeria, it essentially has gained a position as the channel where people look to communicate with one another, and from both government and brands. It's become the primary driving force for communication and engagement. So social media has come to become the primary channel of communication.
Okay, so for brands, what are some of the benefits that it has brought to businesses, brands, and organizations?
I think it's done a lot, you know, particularly when you talk about having to reach out to specific target audience. Social and digital allows you to do that. You can segment the kind of audience that you want to reach. You know, you want to reach out to women only, men only, people within specific age ranges, people within specific locations. Digital has allowed you to do that effectively. Number one. Number two as well, it allows you to scale, you know, to scale up, to dial up your campaign, communication, and scale down as well. You want to be able to reach the entire world, or you want to reach the people of Nigeria, or down to people of Lagos, or down to a specific local government. Digital has allowed you to do that effectively as well. It has as well essentially helped in real-time communication and engagement between brands and people, where if businesses you are able to reach your customers directly, as against times when you actually have to rely solely on offline media. Now you can have a balance of both.
But then there's this issue of fake news, right? Of course, you mentioned some good sides. How do we marry both?
So for every thing in life, or every invention in life, there are also channels in which people will misuse and those tools, those and those channels for every invention. You know, let's use plane crashes. I mean, people still fly, but then when there are plane crashes, we don't say because there are plane crashes ban air flights. We need to get better at using it efficiently. We need to get better at measuring how to maximize that efficient use of it. So for us, it's to essentially focus on how we can maximize the benefit. You know, focus more on optimizing, getting better on how we can engage it, because ultimately this tool or this invention, once it comes out, digital is morphing every day. People are having to learn a lot more every day. So businesses, as a business and individual, you need to learn a lot more. And as these tools are evolving, you need to be on top of your game as well to know how best to use it and how to optimize the opportunities that are available as well. So yes, we have fake news. And the way I always say it is that fake news thrive because fact is scarce. As long as fact is scarce and people don't know where to look for the original and authentic news, fake news is going to thrive.
So Adeola, are there forms of fake news that people should be aware of?
Thanks for this. So yeah, there are several types of fake news that actually a lot that people need to pay attention to, and to a large extent, they fall into mis and disinformation of people. I think the first one is misleading communication, where people essentially use information to actually frame an individual, but then it's not essentially true. So that's one type. There's imposter content, where you essentially have another information completely. Imagine if, and I think there was a time where that happened, where there was a story in Nigeria about the killing of another Nigerian in South Africa, but the image that was being shown and being thrown around on social media actually happened around 6 or 7 years ago. But because it was recirculated, people thought it was in the immediate. So people started sharing it. So that's some imposter content about fake news right there. There's also some where you can now have fake content itself, where people actually deliberately created information because they actually want people to believe what is not true. In the age of a lot of digital tools where you can create your own information, you can put the logo of one company on another product, you can place another thing, maybe an insert on another product. You can, a lot can be done. You can actually arrange some photo shoots yourself and make it look deliberately as if something happened, and then share that online, and then it then goes viral because people are drawn to those kind of information and they're likely going to share it as well. So there's also misalignment on context, where certain things happen, but people misinterpret what it is. And then because it fits into what people are looking out for, they tend to share that information as well.
Now, as we begin to close the show, I'd like to ask you about the reality of what the government is trying to do when it comes to blogging, social media. What is your take?
I think, so for me, the way I essentially look at this is, yes, the way to deal with this is to get into the space, understand it, and how best to make use of it. Because we can't have a Ferrari and then park it in the garage, and that's the way we essentially I've seen it. Because there's a history of long-term distrust between people and government. So when the government says that they want to enter into an industry or space, people tend to be afraid. The entertainment industry, media industry, when government says they want to come into that space, people are always afraid because it almost looks as if there's some limitation on how or the potential is. So the way I say it is going to be a tough one, because ultimately the biggest tool that we have are the nation's youth, and they are leveraging digital to build businesses, to build their life, to build reputation, to run their startups, to recruit audience, to connect with people. And ultimately, what we need to understand is how best can we help these people to focus on it, rather than trying to limit the impact or the possibilities of how they can use this tool in reaching whatever they want to be able to do with it. So for me, I think it's, I don't think it's something that they should be able to do. Ultimately, the Nigerian youth have always grown by turning obstacles into possibilities. I think what is happening, the negotiations that are happening is actually good, but I think as it's just a function of time, I think all that will be reversed. We'll probably, and I think what this will turn to is having these social and digital organizations on ground, so that the government itself can see how they can benefit from this relationship. I think that's where this will go ultimately.
Awesome. One thing is clear from what you have said, social media is here to stay. That's the reality. Adeola, thank you for being on the show today.
Absolutely.
Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you so much.
have been chatting with the marketing consultant, Adiola Kayode, who is of the opinion that it is better to be proactive when dealing with social media in general. It is important to know what is being said about your brand, and there are a number of tools out there that can help you monitor social media effectively. It's a wrap on this edition of the show. Watch the entire show on Channels TV, YouTube, or cfablog.ng. For Tech Trends, I'm Chukwemeka Agbata.